can try fighting the law all you want, but the law is always going to win. From politicians and celebrities to sports figures and business leaders, they're fighting the law. Now, here to sort out the nation's top legal news stories is America's favorite legal analyst, Royal Oakes. This is the Royal Oakes Show.
Robbing people with a 6-gun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Thank you, Mac Horn, and welcome to the Royal Oakes Show, and welcome to our co-host, Ken Jeffries. How are you doing today?
Hi there. Happy. It's a hot weekend out there, folks.
Cinco de Mayo,
in LA,
absolutely.
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo.
And our millennial correspondent, Connor Oakes.
Hey, happy to be here, too.
Getting ready to celebrate Cinco de Mayo tonight, I bet you.
In my own way.
You millennials like to celebrate.
We like to go wild. I'm going to watch some cartoons.
Nothing
That's
wrong with
gonna be
that.
my-
Nothing wrong
that's how
with
I'm
that.
gonna respect
As your
the
father,
holiday.
I approve of that mode of celebrating Cinco de Mayo.
I was going to go beat a piñata,
That's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's part of
but
it.
I got to go rent one. Or
Yeah.
How do? No, never mind.
Somebody posted a great tweet. He handed his daughter this beautiful unicorn. She said, "It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Can I keep it?" And he goes, "You have to beat it apart, destroy it. It's a piñata. Here, you're 4. You'll figure it out. Don't worry about it."
Seemed wrong.
Yeah.
Well, poor little kids get injured somehow.
It's like a game show. Beat your piñata. And now here's the host of our show,
Beat
Royal
your
Oakes.
furry friend
So,
to death.
speaking of hosts and game shows, we were chatting before going on the air, and I didn't know that you bumped into Tom Kennedy not too long ago.
A couple of years ago,
Okay.
at an event up Thousand Oaks, which is up the road here from the Los Angeles area, and he's still alive. And
Former
So-
president and also Berliner Tom Kennedy?
No, you're thinking of John.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang. Who the heck is Tom Kennedy?
That's Ich bin ein Berliner.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a jelly donut.
I
That's
Remember
jelly
the
donut.
speech that Gray Davis, our governor, gave when we had the energy crisis and so
No.
on? He wanted to be Kennedy-esque, and we
Yeah.
just had no energy. So he said, Ich bin ein Bulbdimmer. And nobody
Oh,
liked
my
it. And
God.
the next thing you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
voted out.
You know what? That's a joke that I finally understand.
I like it.
That's a rolling blackouts joke in 2018. Oh my God!
So why did I mention
decades-
Tom Kennedy? Because such a fond memory that
Okay,
I
yeah.
regaled Connor with the story, and I just told Ken before the air. So Tom Kennedy hosted a game show called Split Second in
yeah.
the early 1970s on ABC nationally.
A classic. Everyone
And
knows
I
it.
was a student at UCLA, and all my friends and I just said, "Oh, we got to get on these game shows. It'd be fun. You'd be
Yeah.
on TV, make money. All the girls would go wild.
Probably.
It's like being a Beatle."
Yeah.
So I get on
Kinda.
the show, and I won a car. And so that was great.
What kind of car was it?
It was a Monte Carlo.
You've told me the car
styling
before.
and American
What?
handling.
What is a
That's what Johnny
Tell him,
announced.
Johnny, what they want.
What is
Exactly
it?
what
though?
he said.
Hey, how many? Was it 2-door or 4-door?
Oh, no, it was a 4-door sedan. I think
Nice.
it was 4-door. I don't
nice.
know. Anyway, I took it down to Sean Law Chevrolet on Sunset Boulevard, sold it for $5,000, paid my tuition for years.
That is a
at
crime.
UCLA.
Wait,
Yeah,
you said,
it was really good.
Did you say paid your tuition for years with
Yeah,
$5,000?
At UCLA, per quarter, it was the quarter system. It was about $150 or $200 per quarter. The whole year was under $1,000.
Oh,
Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah. So anyway, so I have a soft spot for Tom Kennedy, and I'm glad that he's still kicking, and I'd love to look him up and chat with him. I don't want to talk to Chuck Woolery, because when I was on Wheel of Fortune the next year, I got dog food and bath towels as lovely partners. I did not solve a
You had to go
single-
shopping. That's the old Wheel of Fortune. You had to go
No.
shopping on that.
Dog
The
But
old
food
Wheel
and
of
bath
Fortune.
You have to
towels.
solve the damn puzzle, Ken, and I
Yeah.
didn't. I must
It's
have had
hard.
a brain fart.
a
or
mental
something.
block. I never do anything on Wheel of Fortune. I watch it. It's a complete
Housewife
mystery to me.
from Rubidoux and a PE teacher from Sylmar kicked my ass. I didn't solve a single puzzle. I thought, well, I won a car in split
Yeah,
second.
I'm a genius.
This is easy. I'm a
Yeah.
genius. Oh man, that'll bring you down real fast.
Solve word puzzles.
When the Wheel of Fortune concierge says goodbye, thanks for coming, but. This stuff happens. Hey, but we've got stories to talk about,
have we
this
got
was a
stories
huge week.
here?
Our big
Oh, yeah.
stories, first of all, the Trump swirling timeline
Yes.
and Rudy Giuliani. And by the way, I've got some huge news according to the web. In the absence of actual facts that Trump conveyed to Rudy,
Right.
he pumped him up with a song in the Oval Office
Sorry,
to get
what?
him psyched up. I said he pumped him up with a song in the
Do
Oval
we
Office.
know
We're going to get to that.
the song.
We do. We're going to get to it. So the other big story. The Boy Scouts are no longer the Boy Scouts.
Yep.
They're the BSA.
BSA.
Boy Scouts of
The
America.
emphasis on
is
BS,
kaput.
I guess, now.
Well, but now they're welcoming girls.
Yeah.
And so since they want girls to join, they got rid of the name Boy Scouts, and we'll talk about
So
whether
what are the
that
Girl
makes
Scouts?
sense.
Yeah, what are the
Yeah,
Girl
well,
Scouts
poor
do?
Girl
You know,
Scouts.
They're
Yeah.
actually not happy about
No,
No,
it.
they're
I
not
heard
happy at all.
with
It's a
that,
marketing
Well,
thing.
they can admit boys. What if they did
They
that?
could.
We're also going to talk about Cosby, a little post-mortem. It's getting to be old news, but we have a disclosure from the juror. We know why the jury voted, or at least this one guy, and I think he
Really?
said he was speaking for some others. The key piece of evidence as to what sunk Cosby's ship.
Wow.
We'll get to that.
no
Now,
idea.
in terms of the follow-up on the doctor trouble, of course, we know Ronnie Jackson, the rear admiral who was the doctor for Trump, is in a lot of trouble now, and he's been withdrawn. But there's another doctor issue that just came out this week. The previous doctor for Trump, he's speaking out. He feels that Trump's people raped him, figuratively, by taking
that
the
word.
medical records.
And I think
from
I
him.
remember his name was Vinny Boombatz.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
no, I stole that joke
don't
from
think
last
you
night from
know.
Bill Maher, who stole it from Rodney Dangerfield.
Ron Dangerfield and of course,
These
Johnny
are not.
Cochran
This
had
is not
his.
theft. This is comedic appropriation.
Yes, it's
which
comedic.
is
It's comedic
allowed.
appropriation.
It's allowed.
And finally, our final top story we're going to get to a little later, sex. We've got an app for that.
Excellent.
Did you know that there's an app for sex for people who want to make sure that consent is properly given?
Let me clear some space.
Oh,
on
I
my
thought you could
phone
have sex
here.
with the app.
Nope. No, that's in that
That's
Scarlett
coming, isn't it?
Johansson movie.
I don't-
remember.
Oh, that's
the
right. She's
Joaquin Phoenix?
a robot. Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix in the future falls in love with Scarlett Johansson's voice.
Right. Her is
And
the name
he
of the
Her, I
really,
think, was the movie, wasn't it?
yeah, he really falls in love with her.
Right.
Sort of non-grammatical, should have been she, I think. But anyway, and it turns out he sort of tricked her into admitting that, she has 73,835 other people with whom she
Desperately
has
in
the
love.
cyber relationship.
Right, and
it kind of took the bloom off the rose for
It
Joaquin.
does. Yeah. Spoilers. By
Yeah.
the way,
Oh.
for
Yeah,
that
oh, yeah,
5-year-old, 8-year-old movie.
Ruined every.
I'm sorry.
For everybody.
So this is an app that you don't have sex with the app. You have it's permission thing, right?
Here, let me pull it up on my phone. No, I don't have it. It makes sure that both parties are
Unless you're pulling up
consenting.
would be,
So you know,
okay.
I guess you would click read the end user license agreement. Scroll. Oh yeah, totally consent. 100%. I accept.
That's
Oh,
the
no.
gist of it. So our two features, Hot Tub Time Machine, we're honoring 1968 these days because it's the 50th anniversary of 1968. And at the end of the show, we're going to have a little soundbite from the past for our Hot Tub Time Machine segment. But, of course, our Moron of the Week segment. Every week we have two candidads for Moron of the Week.
Giuliani on there this week?
No, he's not.
He's not.
We're
He's
going to
not.
talk about him.
Yeah, he may
but,
make it next week.
I hope so.
Could be. But we always have one at the top of the show and then another moron candidate at the bottom, and we all vote on who is the most moronic. So here's the top of the show candidate,
Okay.
and it's a guy who's out there in the news. He's a candidate for governor in Georgia. His name is Brian Kemp.
Yep.
And so he had a TV commercial for his gubernatorial campaign.
Okay.
Gomer Pyle came up with the idea of gubernatorial?
Yeah, Goober.
Yeah, that's
George
a
actually,
funky one.
Why
It
not
was George
gubernatorial?
Lindsay who played Goober.
You think it could be gubernatorial?
You're right. That was George Lindsay.
Was
Okay,
it?
so
gubernatorial.
he's running for goober in Georgia, and his name is
Goober.
Brian
Head
Kemp.
Goober.
And
Yeah.
he has a TV commercial where he's sitting there in a living room, and next to him is a young gentleman, a 16, 17-year-old young man.
Okay.
And he says, I'm Brian Kemp. I'm running for governor. This is Jake, a young man interested in one of my daughters. And Jake says, yes, sir.
What?
And,
What?
And so the governor says, now we're running for governor to make Georgia #1 in small business. Now, two things. If you're going to date one of my daughters, Kemp asks young Jake. And Jake says, respect, sir, and a healthy respect for the Second Amendment, sir. Then Kemp, who's running for governor, then cocks his rifle up toward Jake and says, we're going to get along just fine. So I
Wow.
think that maybe qualifies him as a candidate for Moron of the Week
I'm
to
not
be pointing a gun at young Jake.
Yeah.
Maybe he thinks it's comedic.
That's
George's
exactly
idea
the
of
problem.
comedy.
It's exactly
But,
the problem.
if
Yeah,
you
it's
follow, say,
the NRA school
gun
of comedy.
practices, you never point a gun.
Never,
You assume
ever.
it's always loaded.
And you never pointed at something unless you want that thing dead.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, he
the-
wants Jake dead.
He does, clearly. That is actually, I mean,
Little Tina, she doesn't
Yeah.
need Jake in Tina's life.
I don't love the whole point a gun at a guy for a comedic effect thing. Yep. I think it's frivolous and silly and has no place in a campaign ad, where I would hope that we are at least taking the issues of governance theoretically seriously. But that doesn't really get to me too much. What really gets to me is this entire trope of the father pointing the gun or holding a gun or threatening the guy pursuing his daughter, because it's this whole notion of the daughter is his property. Yeah. The daughter has to be protected like he would protect his head of cattle from rustlers. It's this idea of there's no autonomy in the hands of the girl. The daughter is under his control and purview, such that he will kill.
As a father myself too, and I mean I agree with that.
Please don't pull out a gun right now.
But I can, I always said when my daughter started dating, I would tell her potential boyfriends, and I'll be on the front porch with the 12 gauge,
right,
and we would joke about it. And I realized now I wouldn't say it anymore, except on this show,
of course.
But it's
there's a sensitivity.
There is.
And when you referred negatively to the trope, though, I mean, I don't get it, because I like trope. I mean, I know it's sheep intestine, but it's chewy and it's flavor.
Have you actually ever had tripe? Have you ever eaten that?
No.
Thank God.
All my life.
No, the other proud Trump is in the White House, isn't he? Oh, that's Trump. I'm sorry.
I've heard of tripe and haggis all my life, and I've never tasted either
Engineer
one.
Jose says tripe is delicious.
All right.
I like Merle Haggis was a great country star.
For that.
All right, speaking of irresponsible, crazy stuff, let's move to Kanye West.
Yes.
Apparently, he said something along the lines of, "You hear about slavery for 400 years? 400 years? That sounds like a choice. You were there for 400 years, and it was y'all of y'all." Now, I'm not sure what he means by y'all of y'all.
That's Yeezy talk, isn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing.
He really got a lot of flack
a massive
on
amount
this.
Of flack. An enormous amount of flack.
LeVar Burton, who played Kunta Kinte in the 1977 series Roots, who therefore he is entitled to comment on this, he said, "Where do you start with Kanye? I genuinely believe this young man has brain chemistry issues and that he is in a hypnomanic phase." I had no idea that LeVar Burton was like a neuroscientist, but it sounds like he is.
Yeah.
Look at Ben Carson is a neurosurgeon, but he's in charge of HUD.
He doesn't just play one on TV.
Ben
Carson's a real neurosurgeon. I wouldn't mind getting a brain transplant from Dr. Ben Carson. So what do you think? Do you think Kanye has crossed the line? I mean, first taking a trophy away from Taylor Swift, and now this?
I don't think you can even compare them. I don't think
I just did.
I think he's in a way he's an African American version of Trump, because they both have huge egos.
Yeah.
They both can't keep their mouths shut.
Yeah.
And you can almost, in a way, throw Giuliani with the because again, Giuliani, huge ego, and he can't keep his mouth shut. That's for another maybe part of the show.
Yeah.
But I'm telling, between the three of them, they ought to form a club.
Yeah, I'm not one to say, like, I really don't buy into the
it's craziness.
Stay in your lane thing, the stick to music thing. That's the wrong way to criticize.
That's LeVar Ball. That's another one. LeVar Ball, stay in your lane.
Yeah,
that's another big ego thing.
I'm very against saying to somebody who has a public profile for whatever reason, you should not be commenting on politics. You should be not commenting on whatever society. You should make whatever art you make and keep doing it, and you're a genius at that. Kanye, inarguably, has been for years such an icon that you can't really say he's not a musical genius and an incredible success story.
But he's unhinged.
Yeah, but at the moment he's unhinged. And I will never tell somebody to not engage in politics and not be a part of the active citizenry. But the guy is so off base and so unaware of everything that he has to know he's bringing nothing to any conversation. No person wants a guy at the table who just says, wow, 400 years is a long time, therefore slavery can't have been real. Basically, what he's saying is he's like he's denying the Holocaust. I mean, it was the African American Holocaust, and he's basically saying, it doesn't sound real to me. Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? You're on such a different level than anybody else. You're so unaware of the historical context or the current societal context. You live in 12 different mansions, and you have no idea what it's like.
Ken has a thought.
Just real quick, the NRA speech that Trump gave yesterday, he credits Kanye with bringing his black approval rating up by 11 points to like 21%.
Wow. All right. Well, speaking of Trump, when we come back, the Rudy Giuliani big week on the Royal Oak Show. Stay with us.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
You
experiencing pain? Back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain? Pain from a sports injury? If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com. 310-873-4422.
Hi, friends. This is Larry Manetti. Go to LarryManetti.com to get my book, Aloha Magnum. You'll read all about the wonderful guest stars like Carol Burnett, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, and many, many more. There is an episode guide and my favorite recipes that I really cook at home. I will include a free signed photo with every book. Get Aloha Magnum at LarryManetti.com. Order now. Aloha.
The legends of Ka'anapali Luau at the Ka'anapali Beach Hotel will take your breath away with an abundant feast, spellbinding dances, and music from Lei Pono Productions. Be greeted with a lei and browse to see island crafts made by local artisans. As you hear the pu or conch shell blow, your luau experience will begin. The featured entree is a whole roasted pig and a bountiful menu of some of Hawaii's favorite food choices. Oh, you can't forget our famous made in-house taro poi. As your night comes to an end under the spell of the moon, be amazed by the famous firewalk. By the end of the night, you'll be full, and we hope you'll have made new friends and some forever memories while you continue to listen to music from Maui's local Hawaiian musicians every Monday night at Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel. Ka'anapali Beach Hotel, voted Best Aloha Spirit by Hawaii Magazine readers. Call 667-0128 or visit legendsofka'anapali.com for your exciting island adventure.
Trying to sell your old car? Instead, donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind. Pickup is free and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats, whether they run or not. Call right now and receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call 1-800-785-9618. Donate your car today. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries
Like a small boat
and our millennial correspondent Connor
on the
Oakes.
ocean,
We're talking Stormy,
sending big waves
talking Donald Trump, of course,
in motion.
talking about Michael Cohen, but mostly right now we're talking the star of the show, Rudy Giuliani. He is center stage.
Wow.
And this song actually is what Trump used
No
to pump
way.
him up. Yes, you haven't read it on the web.
What song is it?
In
Now, what song is
absence
this?
of actual facts, Trump played this song for Rudy and told him, this is your fight song.
My fight song.
Pump it up,
Take
please.
back my life song. Prove that
That is amazing.
Rachel Platt, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this Katy Perry? It sounds like Katy
No,
Perry.
this is Rachel Platt.
It does sound
Guys,
just like Katy Perry, actually.
340 million views
Yeah,
of this
but-
song.
Oh, it's a
on
great
YouTube.
song.
So who
Well,
sings it?
that's why Trump played it for Giuliani.
Okay, I just got to know, did Trump whip out his iPhone and just try to fat
no.
finger?
No, they actually-
I'm stuck on
they
Twitter.
have
How do
a-
I get to the YouTubes? I need to
They
show
have
you
an
this
8-track.
video.
They have an 8-track system in the
God,
Oval Office.
Of course they do.
Yeah,
I
it was
know,
left over
yeah.
from
From
the
the Nixon
Nixon
Nixon,
system.
yeah.
They just,
Yeah.
he just.
You guys didn't hear that this was the way.
By the way, they had to conjure
Oh,
up the
yeah.
ghost
This
of
is
Rosemary
amazing.
Woods to figure out how to operate it.
This is amazing.
Well, okay, I made that up.
Poor
But-
Rosemary.
All right. First, the shifting stories by Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
God.
So Trump says on Air Force One in April, stormy weathers. That was a neat song back in the 30s. And he
know
said
anything.
he had no idea, no information about
I don't know where that money
pain.
came from.
Okay, so then Giuliani gets hired several days ago, and he goes out and Fox and Friends and Hannity and so on. And boy, he stunned Hannity. Hannity almost swallowed his lavalier. He says, yeah, the president knew all about, and he did pay the Stormy Daniels payment. And And Hannity says, really? I didn't know that, Rudy.
He says, let me check with my lawyer. Oh, wait, it's the same guy. Yeah.
Okay, so now then the next day, Trump goes out on the tarmac and he says, Rudy's new. He's not getting the facts straight, but he'll be okay.
Nice Nixon.
He just started yesterday. Remember that?
Nice
he started
Nixon.
yesterday.
So anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think this is going to be a horrendous, awful problem for President Trump? That, oh my God, he's been caught in an inconsistency.
Oh, gee, he lied.
For the first time ever. Yeah, so I think obviously this looks terrible, and the White House's response to this was frantic, frankly. I mean, Sarah Huckabee Sanders said the first time she heard about it was on Fox and Friends.
Right.
And the White House said they're not going to respond. And then Trump goes out and tweets like crazy, multiple long paragraph long tweets in what is, I would describe as a remarkably sane tone of voice, describing in a sort of, I don't know how to, maybe you would say it, lawyerly kind of way, how when Giuliani said on TV that I reimbursed Cohen, he meant that Cohen's retainers paid monthly for months prior added up to an amount that Cohen then could use to pay the woman, and there was no involvement with campaign finance, and it's all unrelated, blah, 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 blah. Signed, totally Trump. I swear, this is me. I'm definitely tweeting from the toilet like usual, and I'm not his lawyer.
Well, it doesn't seem that inconceivable to me, though, that Trump really wouldn't be involved in details, timing. Yeah. He probably had a general notion.
He's a busy man, He's got other things to do.
And he was busy because it was the last few weeks of the campaign in October 2016. Yeah. But to me, it doesn't seem all that weird to think that Cohen was probably paying off several women. And using his $500,000 to $700,000 slush fund that apparently Giuliani's confirmed that, yes, he had access to that money. And in that sense, it just doesn't seem like it's all that incriminating for Trump, to the extent it was an election law violation, and maybe Trump is incriminated by some wiretaps and some documents in Cohen's files showing that he knew what was going on and he knew this was to help the campaign. That can ratchet it up from campaign law violation to conspiracy to violate it. And yet, at the end of the day, isn't it kind of like, well, we know guys lie about sex. We gave Clinton a pass, and even though those evil partisan Republicans impeached him.
Who had their own affairs too, by the way, but that was another story.
Right, but the American public spoke. They voted with their feet, and they voted in the off-year elections in 1998, and they punished the Republicans for wasting everybody's time about a guy lying about sex, which everybody knows is what people are going to do. So in that sense, is the Stormy thing really going to develop into anything here?
No, and I mean, the campaign finance issues are going to turn into nothing because the FEC is never going to proceed because it's deadlocked half Republican, half Democrat, and they have to allow the investigation to even get into the investigative phase, and the Republicans won't even allow that, so we'll never even get to the finding out part. It might depend
on who wins the midterms again. It may even get to that. But the slush fund, you brought up a slush fund a minute ago, and I recall Nixon having to apologize with the Checker speech for a slush fund.
Oh, yeah, and it worked for him just fine in the fall of 1952. Didn't work so well with respect to the hush money for the Watergate burglars in 1974. Hey, when we come back, when a federal judge looks at Mueller's team and says, come on, guys, and he says he thinks they're lying and all they're trying to do is dredge up information to impeach Donald Trump.
Incredible.
Put a smile on Paul Manafort's face for the first time probably in a year. We'll cover all that when we come back on the Royal Oak Show. Stay with us.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Hi, everyone. This is Fred Dreier with a big announcement. My new movie, Highway 395, has just been released. Don't miss this classic modern-day Western set along Highway 395 in California. It's an action thriller with some romance, too. You can own Highway 395 today by going to my brand new website, freddryer.co. That's freddryer.co. Get my new movie, Highway 395, and check out my new website, freddryer.co.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? Newsflash, the president has changed the tax laws, and now you may be able to pay the IRS less. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, the tax doctor can help you pay the IRS as little as possible allowed by law. There are new tax laws for business owners, the self-employed, even W-2 workers. If you have a back tax problem or a few years of unfilled returns, new help to save you money is now here. Call right now to see how the new tax laws can help you. Plus, right now, we'll waive the consultation fee and give you a free tax savings report. Attention business owners, the self-employed, and W-2 workers. Make this free call to the tax doctor now and learn how to take advantage of the new tax laws that may help you pay the IRS less. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. That's 800-985-1610.
Robert Conrad fans, listen up. From 1965 to 1969, it was nonstop excitement with Robert Conrad as James T. West and Ross Martin as Artemis Gordon in the Wild Wild West TV show. 30 years have passed since the first release of the Wild Wild West, the series book. And now, a new book is back and better than ever. Susan Kessler and her team put together thousands of hours of research, great photographs, interviews with original members, and so much more. The first edition was long considered a collector's dream. Now you can order the brand new 30th anniversary print edition online at wildwildwestbook.com for $38.95. The information remains, but there's more pictures. They're in color, 650 sketches and photographs, and so much more. Jim and Artie live again in the Wild Wild West, the series 30th anniversary edition. Go to wildwildwestbook.com. Order it today, wildwildwestbook.com, and have Robert Conrad in your home tonight.
You order a glass of your favorite Cabernet, fresh asparagus, hollandaise on the side, a filet, medium rare. You unfurl your napkin with a flair, close your eyes, and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1,800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
Trying to sell your old car? Instead, donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind. Pickup is free and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats, whether they run or not. Call right now and receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call 1-800-785-9618. Donate your car today. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes.
Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Paul Manafort did have a smile on his face this week because, of course, the indictment is down against him. He's been pleading not guilty, unlike some other folks that are cutting plea deals. And so they were in front of a federal judge on Friday, a Ronald Reagan appointee named T.S. Ellis, as opposed to T.S.
Elliott.
Elliott, yeah.
This guy actually uses punctuation.
So this was the cruelest month, May, for the prosecution because...
is that a T.S. Eliot poem joke?
I hope so, because it could be
that was
Robert
really good.
It could be Robert Frost, and I'm totally wrong.
The viewers don't know either.
So it's Maya Angelou, of
okay,
course. So anyway, this judge is listening to the prosecution talk about Paul Manafort, laundering money in 2005 and all sorts of financial crimes. And the judge made headlines by saying, come on, guys, What's happening here is all you want to do is dig up dirt to impeach President Trump. You're talking about 2005 financial crimes. What's that got to do with your charge from a Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein? And the response was, well, Your Honor, the charge, it's redacted, it's secret. And why it's secret from the judge, I don't know. But And the judge says, well, I want to see it. So in the next week or two, the prosecution has to show the exact memo from Rosenstein to Mueller explaining the scope of the Manafort investigation. And from this judge's perspective, there's some explaining to do by the prosecution. I take it, Mr. Millennial Correspondent, you're not impressed with the judge's approach?
I'm not.
Why
now,
not?
I've never appeared in front of this judge, and I haven't appeared in front of that many judges, really, in my very short career. But come on, guys. I mean,
it was colloquial.
It was colloquial. This guy said, and
refreshing.
I believe the words he said were, you don't care about Mr. Manafort's bank fraud, which is hilarious that he just called it bank fraud and not alleged bank fraud. But he said... A little slip there. I mean, it's pretty obvious. But the idea that he comes out and says, you don't care about his bank fraud, you're just trying to get to Mr. Trump and dig up dirt against Mr. Trump. I don't know how long you've been a judge, probably a long time. How many times have you seen this exact same process over and over again? You use dirt on the little guys to flip and then use against the big guys because they're sources of information about the activities of the really important guys who are better at covering their tracks. So yes, they care deeply about using Manafort to get to other people. That's prosecution 101. That's what everybody does. Also, second step, what are you saying to them? Don't do this investigation, even though there was bank fraud here. Give him a pass because if you use this investigation, if you do this investigation, it could be used against Trump. What?
But I think
you
it's
can't
reasonable.
just not prosecute
I think it's reasonable
crime.
to find out if this is within the scope of the charge. Now, I agree
Sure.
that
it would be bad if this was
whatever the charge is. If Mueller is inside the box of the charge and he says, oh my God, turns out Manafort killed John Kennedy.
Right.
He wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald, it was Paul Harvey Manafort. Okay, that's legitimate. But if in fact there was bad faith by the prosecution and they knew darn well from the get-go that they'd gone beyond the box, I think the judge probably is getting at that, but we'll know in a few weeks.
I mean, the idea, like, it really, I get where the judge is coming from in theory. To say, oh, this is beyond the scope of the investigation you're charged with and should be doing. But bank fraud in Ukraine, which is, I would say...
Do they even have banks in Ukraine?
But right next to Russia. Yeah. So we've got bank fraud in Ukraine and involving the government and the government turnover at the time of the election. All of that is connected to Russia using its money to influence our elections, the same way Manafort used Russian money to influence Ukrainian elections.
Oh, allegedly.
Oh, sorry, allegedly.
Now connect the dots, to use an old political...
So, Ken, what about the other angle that came out this week on Mueller, the leaked questions? As a newsman, you see leaks every once in a while. Were you stunned a little bit that the 48 questions that Mueller wants to ask Donald Trump were splashed across the front page of the New York Times? I mean, that's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Extremely,
it is. I mean, but they got him, so they printed them. I mean,
if Wilbur Bartholomew Terwilliger, the serial killer, is going to be questioned by Detective Smith, I wouldn't want to see Detective Smith's questions published in the Washington Post.
No.
It would help Wilbur.
All right, so
why are
who goofed I've got, in the words of Howard Cosell, who goofed I've got to know.
Right.
I mean, who did
Mueller
leak it? I don't know.
People said, oh, well, Mueller wouldn't leak his own questions unless he's trying to trick Trump into thinking, oh, these are easy questions. I can take care of them bigly. I'll talk now.
Maybe Michael Cohen. I have
the consensus is Trump did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Trump's lawyers did it.
It's the only thing that makes any sense.
To show that.
But how would he know the
Mueller is going beyond the core?
Well, they just made up.
They made up questions and leaked them to the New York Times.
Think about it this way.
By the way, if you're the New York Times, would you take a call from one of Trump's lawyers leaking a story without actually vetting it?
That's a good point. Maybe they shouldn't. But
go ahead.
This list of questions. The motivation is the real question as to the leak. There's no reason why Mueller would ever leak these unless some weird double back fake out like you're describing is going through his mind, and that's not how Mueller seems to be operating. He doesn't seem to use these sort of parlor tricks to try and get people to sort of show up and flip. He does the normal plotting, investigative, get crimes on him, flip them, get crimes as to other people, and move on. this looks like, in my opinion, a totally uninformed opinion, this looks like they are questions coming from Trump's team so that Trump can say, wow, Mueller's team is leaking. Wow, Mueller's asking really broad questions that are unrelated and outside the scope of what he should be investigating, but they're still related enough that it looks almost plausible. And then at some point, Trump and his lawyers will come out and go, you know what? Trump doesn't even have to testify. He doesn't even have to talk to Mueller under oath. He doesn't even have to give a statement. We're just going to answer all these questions right now. And then they write up all their perfect answers to the questions they wanted to write, and they leak themselves. And then they go, look, you have all the answers you could ever need.
You know what?
From Trump.
I think I figured it out. All we have to do is Giuliani goes back on Hannity and explains all of this, and he'll spill the beans anyway. So what's the difference?
Why not? Yeah. I think Trump is never going to get near Mueller because his lawyers are just going to pound on him. Do not do it. Do not do it.
But he's the world's worst client. I mean, what do you do with that?
It's
allegedly.
You know that they're telling him to stop tweeting. You know that they're telling him to stop saying everything else that he says in public.
I think he's dying to talk. I think he's dying to talk to Mueller. I think he wants to. It's like the old Jack Nicholson in Few Good Men. You want me on that wall. Yeah. You need me on the wall.
You can't handle the truth.
He wants to do it because he might think he can BS his way out of it.
Trump has spent his entire life successfully BSing his way out of everything. He's a confidence man.
Well,
he only trusts himself.
He thinks he can. Which
he's wrong. It would not go well.
But I think he wants to do it. I think Mueller is. I don't know, but he wants to do it. Will he do it? We still don't know. It's possible his lawyers might finally tape his mouth shut and staple it shut and everything else.
Not.
But cut off his thumb so you can't.
The good news for Donald Trump is that he's very healthy.
Allegedly.
Let's talk about his doctors. So his Dr. Ronnie Jackson's in a heap of trouble. He's not even going to be the White House doctor anymore after all this stuff coming about him being Dr. Feelgood and alcohol and so on. But it was Trump's previous doctor, the private doctor, not the Navy guy, that now is in the news, Harold Bornstein. He is really unhappy because some burly guys showed up and took all of
he was
Trump's,
the long-haired guy, kind of a hippie-looking guy.
And he wrote the letter that said how fabulously healthy Trump was during the campaign, and now the news comes out, according to Bornstein, I didn't write that. Trump wrote the letter. And here it is to remind you. Trump wrote this for the doctor. His physical strength and stamina are extraordinary. If elected, Mr. Trump, I can state it unequivocally,
it's a great imitation
will be the healthiest individual ever elected to the presidency. OMG. Can you imagine anybody?
That's TMI. By the way, OMG, TMI also. Yeah,
that too.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's completely.
And he had a blood pressure of 110/65, which I guess is pretty good. But it came out in Bornstein's statement written by Trump as astonishingly excellent.
Yeah, I mean, this is classic Trump and all other sociopathic con men methods. They know you tell the big lie that is so incredibly.
He's a salesman.
It's
called
totally
puffery.
Different. It's different.
It's the art of the deal.
By the way, is his doctor on the hook for maybe losing his license or something like that? I don't know.
He could be in trouble if he allowed Trump to write something, but it's
that's kind of on the side.
But really, like you as a confidence man, as a scam artist, you tell an enormous lie. You say, I have $10 million in a Nigerian bank account, and if you send me 1,000, I'll give it to you. If you had said, $5,000, somebody might believe that it actually exists, but you tell the big lie, and they think if the lie is big enough, there might be a seed of truth. If the doctor says he's the healthiest guy on the planet, maybe he's not a morbidly obese man who's falling apart because he eats hamburgers all the time.
One loose end on Rudy Giuliani, I wanted to get back into the mix here. He said on Fox, I think today or yesterday, that actually the reason the president fired Comey was because Comey refused to say the president is not a target.
Yeah, as opposed to Trump's explanation, which is you bungled the Hillary Clinton investigation, which made no sense anyway.
Well, but you remember Trump said to Lester Holt, and I think this is probably the most incriminating thing he said.
Yeah.
I believe Trump said something along the lines of, they just wouldn't drop this Russia investigation.
Russia thing.
The Russia thing.
Well, I was thinking about the Russia thing, is what he said.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
He thinks he can talk his way out of anything.
So do you think that alone is going to give the Democrats enough oomph toward impeachment if and when they take over the House, as people are speculating they will? Adam Schiff had a piece in either the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal in the last day or two.
It was the National Enquirer, actually.
Well, wherever it was, what he said was, don't get so excited about impeachment. Ken's skeptical. Because he has been the harshest critic of Trump in the House, along with our friend from the Valley. But the fact is, some Democrats are saying, "Hey, let's go slow on the I word, guys," because I think they're worried about the backlash from the Clinton era.
Right, absolutely. It looks bad. I mean, people hate the idea of impeachment. No matter how much you dislike the president, anybody who was around during the Clinton era, and unfortunately I wasn't really around during the Clinton era, I was probably like 8 or something, but I still got enough of it secondhand from the history books and the headlines to know that it does tear the country apart. And so everybody looking around, has this attitude of, God, is it this bad? Has he actually started a war yet? Has he actually had forced North Korea to blow up Guam? How bad is it really? Hey, did he destroy our healthcare yet? Can we just wait it out? Can we just wait it out, and will that be better than an impeachment proceeding during which nothing will ever happen, and there will be 2 years of wasted non-action by the government on any front? But if you're opposed enough to government action generally, or if you're opposed enough to his policy agenda, maybe no action is better.
I think a final report by Mueller has got to come in before
the
they
Kenneth
make
Starr
any
report
decisions.
Of the 2018 era.
So a follow-up on Bill Cosby. He's convicted, of course. He's on house arrest. We don't know if he's going to be free pending appeal for multiple years, and everybody says he's got an argument on appeal that the judge only allowed one woman in the first trial, and then he allowed 5 women, and what's the justification? But we hear from one of the jurors, a key piece of evidence is, well, Bill Cosby admitted in his deposition in that civil suit by Andrea Constant a decade ago that, he used to use Quaaludes with women he wanted to have sex with. That was the key piece of evidence for a bunch of the jurors. And it's kind of ironic because when you think about it, you could call it stupid that he would have admitted it. You could call it honest that he would have admitted it. But I think he could have gotten away in his deposition with having said, Quaaludes, drugs given to women I wanted to have sex with, I don't know what you're talking about. I doubt that the folks suing him in that case had the goods that they could have said, you've committed perjury, Bill, because we have unequivocal evidence here, uncontradictable evidence that you used Quaaludes on women you wanted to have sex with. I think he volunteered. In which case, isn't it funny and ironic that that's what sunk his ship, something that he didn't even have to say, because if he wanted to be a liar in his deposition, he could have denied it, but he didn't, and it came back to bite him.
He also said that the juror, I think, also said they believed Andrea Constant, that she was very, very believable. So that was, I think, the other part of it.
Yeah, and I was surprised about that because, to me, the fact that she followed him around and went up to Toronto with the gift
that's weird.
and her parents
I don't
in
understand
tow
that.
and all sorts of calls, and her answer was, well, he's a big wheel at Temple. I was an employee. We had business to do. But, if somebody has basically raped you, I would think you'd delegate it to Tina to have the calls to Bill Cosby as opposed to Andrea doing it.
So what did the jury say? Do you know what the jury said about that? I don't know. I mean,
other than what you said, that they generally found her
believable,
credible. And, of course, they also had to find Marguerite Jackson, the co-worker of Andrea, who said Andrea admitted she was going to make up stuff about sex against a famous person and make a lot of money. Very, very weird. So the Boy Scouts of America are no more. The name is BSA. To me, it's like ARP. The American Association of Retired Persons or People. They're not that anymore.
No.
They're ARP. They absolutely changed officially their name. They don't want the word retired, which is a little ironic. It's like, we don't want to be around, old retired people. You're ARP. You're the Association of Retired People.
I mean,
but you're turning your back on
retiring
that
the
because
ARP,
that's not hip and cool.
Yeah, it wasn't hip, but the other issue is that the economy, and not just like the economy was bad, but the economy was such that people retire less, they work longer, and this group still wanted to capture that. They wanted to open their arms up and say,
I guess
we
that
are
makes
inclusive,
sense.
We want to bring more people into the fold, which
so
is
in your 60s and 70s, you're still working, or at least part-time, you're not really retired.
Exactly. And there's this association, I don't want to be part of an association, a group of people who
I think
are all
they're changing it to the American
working.
Association of those who still have to work because they
Exactly.
they can't afford not to retire.
It's the same thing with the BSA. They're opening their arms up and saying,
so why are they doing that? Now, marketing-wise, the Boy Scouts have dropped from like 2.6 million to 2.1 million in the last 4 or 5 years.
Right.
So they need Don Draper.
Yeah.
Okay, they need to have an ad campaign.
An ad man.
But to reach out to girls, I mean, but to the extent they're doing it based on openness and non-discrimination, I don't get that. There's a Girl Scouts of America. Why do you need to let girls into the Boy Scouts?
I'd like to know why
if there's a
that.
transgender kid, let him or her go to either one. But I don't think the Boy Scouts are discriminating against girls by not letting them in. There's a damn Girl Scouts of America.
Well, it's hard to say. We depend on the market. The other half, like any company, can come in and compete with us and create a girls-only golf club, so I can have a men-only golf club. It's hard to depend on somebody. It's hard to say that just because there are alternatives, you're not discriminating. But at the same time, the BSA is really, I think, pulling a smart Don Draper-style ad move, because they have gotten a really bad rap recently. They are connected to a lot of conservative groups, and they're connected to a lot of anti-gay groups, and there are a lot of, the whole thing with they're not allowing gay men to be scoutmasters. So this is a way to go liberal and, open their arms up. I get it.
Hey, when we come back, our second Moron of the Week candidate, Hot Tub Time Machine, and sex. We've got an app for that.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Hey, Lorraine, do you realize that your mother, my mother-in-law, Chef Maria, has been serving Las Vegas since 1949?
Yes, I do, Dennis. That's when she first met Howard Hughes, who fell in love with her cooking.
And in 1955, she opened her first restaurant on Fremont Street.
Yes, dear. And another great customer was Liberace.
Wow. Then in 1962, while Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack were causing global excitement on the Las Vegas Strip, your family opened their second restaurant.
And in 1972, Elvis Presley began electrifying Las Vegas audiences and eating in our restaurant.
You know, Lorraine, this is quite a town. There's only one Las Vegas.
And there's only one Bootlegger Italian Bistro.
Folks, when you're in Las Vegas, come visit us. We'll make you feel like you're part of our family.
The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, conveniently located at 7700 Las Vegas Boulevard, South Strip. Visit our website at www.bootleggerlasvegas.com.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares, first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. You guys are able to guess this bumper music, I bet? Did you see Breaking Bad? Did you see the finale of Breaking Bad?
I didn't.
I did not.
Have you ever heard the group Badfinger?
I have.
Day after day, I've heard it.
There you go.
Is that the name of the song?
Wonderful song. Such a
well, I don't know what's
amazing
what's this
crescendo.
Yeah, it actually is a good song.
What's after this? What is this song, though? I can't read.
It's Badfinger.
It's Badfinger, and it's one of their biggest hits.
Yeah,
and,
I don't remember
it has
the
a
name.
title. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard the name, actually.
What is the title? Day after day, I know. I once interviewed their producer, believe it or not.
Really?
Jose has it in his files someplace.
Somewhere.
We'll
deep
have
in
to,
the annals.
We'll have to dig it out.
CRN archives.
So, guys, we've got our second candidate for Moron of the Week here. The first candidate at the top of the show was the guy running for governor that thought it would be a fun joke to point a gun at young Jake, who wants to date the gubernatorial candidate's daughter.
Yep.
And now here's the second candidate. It's a flat earther. Named Darren Nesbitt in Birmingham, United Kingdom. They really believe that the Earth is flat, and he's come up with a theory to explain. Well, people have always asked him, "Oh, yeah, sure, Darren, what happens when you get to the edge?" He says it's like Pac-Man. You know the old game of Pac-Man where little Pac-Man's moving toward the right side of the screen, and when he goes off the screen, he magically appears on the other side.
Yeah.
Teleportation is what happens. He says if you go to the North Pole, for example, Ken, let's say you put on a big parka and get your snowshoes and mush. You at the North Pole, there's like a 20-foot-high mountain of snow, and he says if you go over that
20
mountain,
that's it.
Roughly
goes over
18,
the edge.
22.
That's
you
it?
go over the edge like like Pac-Man.
Come on, say it's a mile high. Why not?
Yeah,
I mean,
you come out on the South Pole.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, you got that.
Does
going
he
for
know that he's describing a sphere? He's saying that if you go far enough in one direction, you come
Darren
the
knows
other
much.
side.
Yeah.
That's what's actually the Earth is round, so
Thank you, Mr.
That's what happens.
Thank you, Mr.
When you go
Geometry.
to the other side, you come up.
The thing is, I just think that he's a moron.
Yes.
But is he the moron?
Yes,
so if you were to guess or vote, if you were to vote for the flat earther, Darren Nesbitt, or Brian Kemp, the gubernatorial candidate in Georgia, who's the biggest moron of the week?
I mean, it's definitely the flat earther for me.
I actually disagree. I think it's the
Mr.
gubernatorial candidate.
Why is it governor?
Because he's pointing a gun at a guy and a kid.
Yeah,
I mean, you're right. That's pretty on the nose. That's
I'm
pretty
going with
straightforward.
Ken. I think
But come
the
on,
Goober is
this
the,
guy is so close to understanding
But you can
physics.
but with the flat Earth, you can fix stupid.
Yep.
With that kind of stupid.
You can hand him a ball and say, "Look, when you go around one side, you come out the other side."
But he
and
doesn't kill anyone with that theory. The gubernatorial candidate can pull the trigger and kill the kid.
Yeah, that's true.
Who knew this would cause people to get more agitated than Rudy Giuliani did?
God.
All right, sex, yes, we've got an app for that.
Perfect.
Consent is a big problem on campus. There's an app by YouConsent that allows potential sexual partners to tell each other what level of physical intimacy they're comfortable with and record their eventual agreement so there's no misunderstanding.
I think that's called Tinder.
Well,
that's actually a baseball app. First base, second base, third base. It's the ESPN.
You just keep score.
So 4 states, California, New York, Connecticut, and Illinois, have passed laws in the last 4 years requiring schools to teach students about affirmative consent. Yes means yes. Now, here's a problem, and this is why we need the app. 40% of college students think that undressing, getting a condom, or nodding yes establishes consent for sexual activity. 40% say those same actions do not.
Yeah.
So you got to have an app.
Yeah.
So the app allows the two people in the same room to enter what they are agreeing to do, and it's
so romantic.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, it's completely and totally aromantic, but at the same time, at something like this, some weird, bizarre idea like this actually might allow us to get over the fact that there's a reason that people, when they're trying to have sex, are not, talking to each other. It's awkward.
Well, it's gonna sell, I think. So, guys, it's time for a Hot Tub Time Machine. We're honoring 1968. Jose, please run it.
Girl, get out of my mind.
This song was huge in 1968.
Yeah,
you happen to know,
I played it.
You happen to know who's singing here?
Yeah,
I
do. It's Gary Puckett in the Union Gap.
Gary Puckett in the Union Gap. I know, Connor, you would have gotten it. Hey, folks. Check us out next week on the Royal Oak Show. Have a great week. So long.
The station of every situation. And you can listen to us on nearly any platform and device. Download to your iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry episodes of What's Cookin'. And take Master Sommelier Michael Jordan with you to the wine shop so he can help you pick out that perfect bottle of wine. Stream episodes of the Sonoma Wine Report through our CRN app, TuneIn Radio, Nobex, Stitcher, UTunes, or AHA Radio. And start planning that unforgettable weekend in the wine country. They're in your corner on iHeartRadio, iTunes, and many other apps. And of course, you can always listen live through your local cable TV provider, as well as on our